drama came out of Darlington, including that of the Byron Logano, starting with essentially what Byron did first, supposedly to Joey, and then Joey returning that favor on the last lap for the win. I mean, do you feel like that aggression is justified? I mean,
well, I think that, that kind of finish gets people talking. Contact and aggression, it's always a good thing. It's great for business, right or wrong, whether you agree with what happened or not. I think the more of that, the better. A lot of people are drawing comparisons with what Joey did and Dad. A lot of people are going, well, how can you be outraged when this was celebrated at one point, right? I think the little bit there's some differences between Joey's style and Dad's, Mike's. So Dad didn't really Dad wasn't particular about what lap it was. He might run over your ass at lap 50.
Or one.
Well, or one, yeah.
As you learned at Martinsville.
That's right. At Bristol that time.
Or Bristol, yeah.
But and Joey, he could, he gets out and smiles and if Joey would get out and say, hey man, I'm here to kick ass. I'm sorry it was you, William, but whoever's whatever
you were
it
next
takes.
in line.
Yeah, you were next. You were between me and the trophy, and own it, right?
Right.
Outright freaking own it, because it's who he is. This isn't he can't get out of this car at the end of that race and go, whoops, my bad. I misjudged that.
Oopsies.
We've seen that so many times from him that he needs to just own it and say, hey, I'm an aggressive racer, and if we're coming in on the last lap of the checker flag is and the trophy's right there, by God, whatever it takes, you better come to expect it, right? And so I think that he could do that a little bit, but he's 31 years old. I can't believe how young he is. When I see the age of the winning driver, because I get an email from about with stats and stuff to prepare for my job, but Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin and all these guys are getting up there, and it's like Joey's not getting older. I mean, I feels like to me Joey's been in this game for 15 years. Forever. Yeah. But he's just 31 years old. And if you look at Dad, when he was 31 years old, he was just starting his rampage through the garage. I mean, he literally didn't get into the Cup racing until his late 20s. And so Joey is still young, raw, aggressive. There's going to be more of this if he's ever in that situation again, which he will be. I feel like that this is just what we need to expect. It's how he's going to drive. The argument against it is that we saw Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven kind of basically give us the best case scenario of racing it out in the most aggressive way at Darlington years ago. It's this iconic, almost maybe celebrated as one of the best finishes in the history of the sport. And so that goes up against, that's absolutely 180 degrees from what Joey did. Joey just went in there and popped him, sent him into the fence, and went on. And so I wish that we could have gotten that type of a result, but Joey talks about coming off of turn 2 and getting squeezed into the fence. And if you watch that part of the lap, I know that William didn't just disregard him blatantly and fence him off of 2, right? William was racing hard. It ended up squeezing Logano a little bit. It's good racing.
Yeah.
Right? But, so let's all climb in Joey's car, all right? We're all now driving Joey's car. You got his helmet on. You've been in this sport for how many years? You've been pushed around. You got let go by Gibbs. You get run over by Harvick and a few other guys, getting taught a lesson over, throughout your career. And you're kind of trying to shake off this sliced bread moniker that somebody gave to you. That wasn't a self-imposed nickname. He was basically heralded as this next great thing, right? Mm-hmm. So you got all that. You're trying to shed all that, right? And you've raced. You've become a champion. You've made it. You put your career back together at Penske, and here you are coming off turn 2, and you got a young driver with talent, multi-time winner this year, squeeze you into the wall off 2, right? there's a switch that flips in your brain, and nothing matters except being able to get back to that driver and prove to him that you aren't going to get squeezed into the fence. And next time, if you're going to race me, you're not going to squeeze my ass into the wall. And especially when that driver's younger, that really pisses you off. When it's another veteran, somebody you came in with, you get out. You might take that a little bit better, and you're still mad, but you're going to get out and go, dude. We came in together. We're the same age. You understand the etiquette and the respect and everything. You've been here just like me. I don't want that. I don't want you racing me that way. But when it's a young guy, a switch flips in your head, and you're like, it's now your job, your responsibility to go send that kid a message. It doesn't make what he did right, but it kind of explains to me why he overdid it, right? Why he didn't go in there and just edge him out of the way, race him the way we saw Kurt Busch and Craven, right? He just pounded him into the fence. I think it was because he's like, if that's the way it's going to be, I'm gonna end this right now.
If to your original point, if he would have just said that, then I almost would be able to give him a grace on that. But that's not what he said.
Right.
He goes, I raced him the way he chose to race me. False.
Not
that
true.
is not how it happened.
Yeah.
That was not how he raced you.
So this is the thing. So Joey, the switch flips when he gets squeezed off of two. He goes down the corner and he sends the young kid into the wall and sends him a message, right? Joey needs to get out of the car and say exactly that. Hey, squeeze me in the wall. I ain't going to get raced like that. If he's going to race me going forward, he's going to have to do a little bit better job, or he's going to get the same thing in return every time.
Next time he's in that situation, he's going to have to remember that I'm going to take him out next time he squeezes me. Something like that.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, he's shown his hand. This is who he is. That's what you expect. But don't sit there and make us believe that those two incidents were the same.
They're not.
They were not the same.
Absolutely.
And William Byron should punt him into the next century in Kansas.
And he might. I think William Byron, next time he gets around him, is it'll be interesting. We've never seen William be put in this situation. What kind of driver is William Byron? I have to, I know Truex ain't going to appreciate this, but when Truex gets roughed up, he chooses to race to pass the guy cleanly the next time he's around him, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll say, hey, Martin, why didn't you rough him up? I wanted to prove to him that I don't need to rough him up, right? I don't race that way. I race clean, right? And so now, Martin did get a little rough here a couple weeks ago with Chastain, but
it was so fun to watch.
Yeah,
loved it.
So I guess I'm curious, like William, what kind of Williams? He's this sort of all-American, happy-go-lucky persona. What will he do next time he's in that position? I'm sure he's getting tons of advice from Jeff Gordon and everybody over at Hendrick about, hey, man, next time you're around that car, this is what you do. What are they telling him? What is he going to do? What is he going to choose when he's in that moment?
Jeff said it. Jeff said he owes him one.
Yeah. So I think it'll be worth watching to see. Okay, this is who William is. We're gonna see a new side of him. Because I don't think I've ever seen William really be in a situation where he's felt wronged or guys run him over and he's had to sort of stand his ground. If he doesn't do something, I don't know what that is, but if he doesn't do something, that's a sign to every other driver in the garage that William's a pushover.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's what.
Hey, man, he got punted sitting in the wall.
Right.
And he did nothing about it.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a tough situation that William's in because I hate to be forced into I hated personally to be forced to do something to prove that, hey, I'm not a pushover. Because then the last thing you want to do is go run over a guy in a different race just to prove your point. It's extra work. It really is. It's just extra work that you really just don't feel like fooling with, but you gotta.
It reminds me of Richmond back in 2004 when Kyle sent you.
2008.
2008. You're right. 2008.
He wrecks me.
Sent you, and then you sent him back.
I had the next good opportunity I got, and I waited for it, and it was at the next Richmond race, and I was right on his bumper, and I'm like, it's now or never. I mean, this is if I don't do it and choose this moment, which is the perfect moment, then I've passed. Then I've passed. I don't get a chance to try to wreck him later. And so, even if we're in another situation, if you pass on that first perfect chance, you're a pushover.
Yeah.
So, I almost felt like I had to wreck him in that moment, getting down into turn one. And I feel like that William's going to have that same decision or that same choice to be made at some point in the future with Joey. If a guy squeezes you in the wall and you're still fast enough to be able to get back to him, you cannot end his race. Like, Joey had no right to end the 24's day. Joey's blatant disregard for allowing his competitor to finish is a point of frustration for me. And when Byron gets out of the car and says, guy, all right, I get it. I think what I was getting from Byron, he wasn't saying these words, was, all right, I understand getting into me. I understand being frustrated or moving me out of the way. Byron, has been aggressive before with his car. I mean, I think at Nashville he moved Nassie to get by him to win the race of just the night before. I think when Byron said he didn't even let us finish, that is so I felt that. I felt that because. If you're going to be aggressive and you're going to have some contact, keep it at that. And don't put me out of the race. Don't spin me out or at least let me get second, third, whatever. If you're going to knock me out of the way, at least let me get a decent result out of this. I think that was something that bothered me. And I seen that somewhere else earlier this year. There was a bit of a back and forth between drivers where they got together on the last corner. And you want to see, okay, there was contact. One guy wins, and then the other guy ends up 18. Oh, it was freaking Dirt Bristol.
Bristol, that's right.
Yeah, so
that's right.
Briscoe goes down in the corner.
And
It just has he has no chance, right? And he admitted, he's like, I was going to spin out. I was spinning out. If Tyler wasn't there, I was wrecked. But he wrecks himself. Tyler is able to come across the finish line, but Briscoe ends up 18th or 22nd or something. Mm-hmm. And, God, that's frustrating. They're both going down in the last corner, first and second, and you get aggressive, beat, slide, bang, do whatever, but damn, at least get across the finish line. So that, to me, is a problem, and I think that gives William every right to go settle the score however he wants. I think going forward, too, Joey Logano, it's not if this is who you are. It is who you are. Own it. When you get out of the car, own it. Say, whatever's between me and the checkered flag is a problem.
Right.
Right? And that's how I'm going to handle it.